tonight, we're going to be tuned into some issues here. Number one, I'm going to look beyond the surface when we're having our questions. I'm not going to make up my mind about what she says based upon her first response to a question. I'll try to draw a conclusion after we've asked good follow-up questions to make sure that what she says is what she means. Another thing that I'm going to try to do is, if she's not in a good mood tonight, I'm not going to be defensive, and I'm not going to judge her, and I'm not going to try to correct her. I'm going to try to move through it and move on, and we're going to measure that. Another thing that we're going to work on, and these are all the things that happened on this last call. That's why we're bringing this up. This is the format we're going to be doing from now on. We're going to analyze what we're doing. We're going to go a little bit slower with her tonight in order to make her more comfortable. And I'm not going to make any attempt tonight, like we made no attempt in the first call, to have her commit or persuade her or sell her or tell her anything. And I'm not going to be needy. I'm going to let this prospect basically take the call, the direction that she wants to take it based upon what she has said. Because amazingly, what is important here is that today's prospects, the people we're talking to, they're not accepting selling and telling. They're not accepting because I say so. They're not accepting because you politely twisted their arm. They want to know about the benefits, and they want you to show you, convey to them, provide to them proof that there's really something in it for them. It's about them, not about me or myself or my opportunity or my company or my compensation plan. It's about the prospect. With that right there, I'm going to proceed to go right into our call from last week. And now I have to make a presentation to her tonight. I have to talk about an opportunity. And because there's at least 46 companies that attend these calls, I want you to know that the company I'm going to talk about is not one of the 46 companies that usually attend these calls. The company I'm going to talk to her about is an imaginary company. It's an imaginary company. Okay? This way we're very politically correct and very politically safe. Okay? With that thought in mind, is our prospect on the phone?
Yes, I am.
Good evening, Naomi, and how are you tonight?
I'm fine, John. Thank you for asking, and I'm glad you kept the call. I'd like to take a moment, if you don't mind, and apologize for my attitude the last time we spoke. I really was having a bad day. But I got your emails, and they were very informative and helpful.
Well, bless you and thank you. You know, we all have bad days. My vet called today and said my dog had a sarcoma. I looked it up on the thing, and it says malignant tumor. I wasn't listening. I mean, talk about learning the business. She said seroma, which is nothing more than they fixed it in 10 minutes and she's coming home. But I'm there thinking that my dog's dying of a malignant tumor. And I wouldn't have made that mistake if I would have been listening and known the difference between the word sarcoma and seroma. So I make mistakes too. So let's just call it a day, shake hands, and come out fighting tonight. What do you say?
Okay.
Sound like a plan?
Sounds like a plan.
There were some things that you said a couple of weeks ago that have haunted me, and if I could have your permission, I'd like to revisit some of those because you got my attention. Okay?
Okay.
Now, when we were talking, we did discuss the fact that you know that we help people, we help you set up your own business, and we try to provide you a decent start so you can, take better care of yourselves and your families. And we got past the point that it struck a chord with you or that you were interested in it, if I remember correctly. Is that right? We at least got that far?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And because at the very end I asked you something like, does this make sense? Or does this seem like something that you might want to talk about a little bit more? And your comment was, I'm not opposed to Was it seeing? I don't remember. I'm not opposed to selling. That's what you said.
Mm-hmm.
Was I listening? Right. Was I listening to you?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Do you remember making that comment when you said, "This is really tough because of the recession"? Do you remember that comment?
Well, yeah. I think what I was trying to tell you is that my situation is tough because of the recession, and hence that's the reason why I think I need to be open to look at alternatives. I think that's the point that I'm at.
Well, is the recession that you have because of where you live? By the way, where do you live?
I live in Baltimore, Maryland.
Okay, all right. Well, what is it about the recession that has been so hard on you, please?
Well, I think it's struck a chord. I mean, many of my friends are out of work. I'm trying to get back into the workforce now that my kids are older, and I'm finding a very difficult time finding a job. Now, I'm okay financially, but that's not going to be forever. So I know I need to do something, and I thought, well, since the job market isn't good, maybe I need to take matters into my own hands.
You told me you had an 18-year-old and 21-year-old. Do either one of them work part-time jobs?
Yes.
They do?
Yes.
How are they acclimating themselves to the workforce and the market and the business?
Well, okay. I mean, the market for them, their heads are in the clouds. You know, they get a paycheck of $10 and they're delighted. You know, because they don't. You know, they're at the point. I mean, the older one, he's doing well. He's being responsible, but you know, they don't really have a grasp. They don't. You know, they're not helping me with the bills or anything. My older one is in college. Younger one is not out of high school yet. I'm not going to put those kind of pressures on them at this point.
How do you feel about them working?
I think it's important for them to understand the job market, the politics of working with different types of people, and to be independent financially.
Okay. And from the way you just spoke, it's pretty clear to me that you're a pretty independent person?
Yeah. I've always carried the household.
Okay. Are you a single mom?
I am. I'm newly separated.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Without being personal, how is that affecting your family as far as taking care of one another?
Well, it's an adjustment.
Uh-huh.
Especially for them. It's, you know, strength comes from all different places, and I pray a lot more than I did, and I always prayed.
All right.
So we'll get through it.
If there's anything right now based upon what's going on in Baltimore, the recession, being a single parent that's raising your children, if there was one thing about this that you could change right now, what do you think it would be that would be the most advantageous for you?
Well, it would be great not only to be able to give my kids more, and I don't just mean handing out, but teaching them to not only be independent by having their own jobs and taking care of their own finances, but being a business owner so that they don't have to work for somebody else. And learning all that entails in time management, looking forward, being adapt to other ideas. I think those are things that you don't learn in school. Those are things that are parental teachings. And I think at this point, the wealth is from being a business owner.
Got it. Okay. Naomi, may we have permission to stop here for a second?
Sure.
Okay, we're going to stop. Now, panel, Will, Kevin, Jan, Ralph, what did you hear from this lady at this point? What have you observed?
Oh, I think this is Will. I think that she's very open to working, a business for herself because she realizes that it has everything that she needs to keep her independence.
Has she told us anything? What has she told us? Directly or indirectly?
John, Ralph.
Yeah.
I think she has a lot of pain right now. She's going through a hard time as far as the relationship.
Very good.
She has children at home that she's trying to support as far as school-wise, and she sounds like she's a really good mother.
Even though she's financially okay, there's still a lot. I felt there was a lot of pressure there as the responsible part of the family that was really weighing down on her.
Well, yeah, she's the breadwinner of the house.
That's right.
Everything.
She's also the disciplinarian. She's also the leader. Did anybody recognize the fact that she made it very clear that she understands the concept of being a business owner? She understands the concept of not working for somebody else, and where the bucks lie is in working for herself. Okay? And that she is incredibly independent, and she's self-reliant. Did any of you feel that in her voice, in her tone, the way she talks?
There's something she said that which really made me curious. This is Kevin. When she said she wanted to take things into her own hands.
Right.
That really stood out to me, and I think if I was talking to her, I would have followed my line of questioning down that point. Well, what do you mean by taking things into your own hands? What are you prepared to do?
But she did tell us.
Yeah, she did, but I think that's where I would have started going down.
Okay, all right. So when we get back on the call, let's ask her what she means by taking control of her own hands. Okay? All right?
She is already that type of person. I mean.
Oh, yes. She's a hands-on person.
Yeah.
Okay. Naomi, may we start back on the call again, please?
Sure.
All right. How do you feel about what they just said about you? Were they listening? Were they listening to you?
Yes.
Do you think they were being understanding in regards to how you feel?
Yes. And intuitive, yes.
Very good. The other thing was we learned as much from the tone of your voice, the rhythm of your words, and how you spoke as what you said.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
That's true.
Okay. When you said take things into your own hands, could you expound upon that a little bit, please, and we'll pick up from there?
Well, as I said, the job market is hard. I need to do something. I want to do something. The kids are older. Being supportive in the community and in the schools was great then. My life is different now. The one thing that I have enjoyed and God has blessed me with is being able to be home when they were young and being supportive and being there for them. I do not want that to change.
Good for you.
And if I go work for someone else, that's going to change. And I know that they're older and they don't need me as much, but this is a scary transition, I think, for boys.
When you think about doing something different right now, what comes to mind?
Having my own business, but I can't foresee having a storefront. I can foresee that I might be able to find a niche in some kind of service field, but that would then again, when you do something like that, take a lot of your time, which is against what I want to do.
Well, you said you lived in Baltimore. How long have you lived there?
25 years.
So I take it you know the city and the community like the palm of your hand?
Yeah, because I've worked in the community and been supportive to the community, so yeah.
So you basically lived there most of your adult life?
Most of, yeah.
How do you like it?
I don't want to die here. I would like to move to another state, be closer to the water.
Okay.
I grew up on Long Island, so I would like to be closer.
Now, wait a minute. If you grew up on Long Island, let me hear you say Long Island. You got to say it right.
Yeah, Long Island.
There you go. Now I believe you. Now I believe you. I thought you were pulling my leg there for a minute. So living someplace else is probably maybe in your future if the cards were right for you and things worked out. Is that true?
That's a goal, yeah.
Well, if it's someplace different, and you mentioned the word water, okay, what do you mean by water? Jersey Shore or where?
I'm thinking about South Carolina for a couple of reasons. It's good tax-wise. The dollar stretches further. The summer's longer, winter's shorter. I think it's a place that I can then convince my mother to move to. She's in Florida because she's getting older, and at some point we're going to have to live together, and it would absolutely kill her to live up here.
So finding something you can do where you can have control and be independent, have the security, have the respect that you want, and in addition to be home for your children, which we all know is more important now than it ever was, those are your hot buttons.
Yes.
And in addition to your hot buttons, when you mentioned the word water and shore, the intonation of your voice went up, so I take it that's kind of appealing to you too.
Oh, yeah, very much.
Okay. With your permission, we're going to stop again now on this call. And Jan, since you're here, what have we learned from her from the questions we've asked so far?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
I don't think you could hear me earlier on the whole time. I don't think you guys could hear me, so I just wanted to make sure. She definitely, well, first of all, back to I was going to make a comment earlier, too. I think she's definitely more prepared, given it more thought, because she's obviously smarter than the average bear, and she's more ready to make a positive change because her need is great. And she definitely already has thought out her long-term goals. She has a basic plan. She just needs a tool to get that plan to come to fruition.
Okay. Anybody else want to offer anything to what you observed from her?
Yeah, she's concerned about being able to take care of her mother, and that falls into the family aspect of everything. So her family is just really more important, I think, than we even realized.
Okay. Now, we've only asked this lady, this prospect, Naomi, 2 questions in our entire conversation. 2 questions. One question is where does she live? And we asked her about the recession. Is that not true, everyone?
That is true.
Okay. From those 2 questions, we have asked her 19 questions. 19 follow-up questions off of those 2 questions. And look at the wealth of knowledge that we have off of 2 questions. Could you tell me more of why you feel the way you do about recession? And by the way, where do you live? Look at the wealth of knowledge. Naomi?
Yes?
Is there anything we don't understand so far? Are we off track anywhere? And I know you will tell us the truth.
No, this is flowing really well. I'm really pretending to be a prospect.
All right, but we have an understanding that you're to be very, very firm. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Now that we've addressed those 2 issues, it's time for me to ask her for permission to move into the information I sent her. So from the information that I've sent you that you've looked at, do you like things laid out in a way that, boom, 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 there they are, you can do them, or do you just like to jump in and do it in a business and get your feet wet? What's your personality?
I'm not afraid of jumping in. However, I think that I don't want to jump in and jump in again and jump in again. I'd like to see the flow and understand it so that whatever I do choose, I can give it my all and know that I'm going to get where I want to go.
Would it be safe to say that when you want to do something different in your life, you need to become someone different as a person? Do you see yourself changing to help yourself in this changing point in your life?
Oh, this whole thing is a big change for me.
Okay.
So, yeah, just answering the email
All
was
right.
a big change.
So would you say you're the sort of person who's receptive to learning different ways of doing things to help yourself?
I think it's a must at this point.
Okay. If you didn't limit yourself, what kind of yearly income are you thinking about?
In the beginning, or
Yes, ma'am.
as
Yes, ma'am.
correct?
Yes.
What would I like to earn in the first 12 months?
Yes, ma'am.
50 to 100,000.
Okay. Do you think that's a realistic expectation?
If I put a whole lot of effort into it, I want to know that the potential is there. If I fall short in the first 12 months but I see growth, then I probably will continue. But if I give something 12 months and my growth is small, and it would take me 25 years to get to that level, then I'm going to look for something else.
Do you think there's anything preventing you right now, and I say preventing you, from getting to this next level in your life? Right now, is there anything stopping you?
Nothing physically. I don't think anything mentally. It's finding the right fit. That's
Right.
probably my biggest concern.
Is there anything that you feel you're unwilling to do to meet your needs or correct the issues and move forward at this point in your life?
Yeah. And there is, I have to believe in what I'm doing. I have to make sure that it's a good thing, that I could look at myself in the mirror and be proud of what I'm doing.
Okay.
I've always helped people. That's a joy. I'd like to be able to help people continually.
Well, since you're such a good conversationalist, how do you feel about the fact that this is the second time we've spoken, and all the way to this point, we've never talked about a product or an opportunity or a compensation plan. We've only talked about you. How do you feel about that?
Well, honestly, it's comfortable, but I think at this point, I want to know what's out there.
Okay.
So I can start dissecting.
Good for you.
And
all right. With your permission, is it okay if we talk a little bit about the opportunity now?
Please.
All right. Did you have a chance to look at the information I gave you?
I did. I went over your how to research a business.
Okay.
And I thought it was very thorough.
Okay.
I'd like to use it.
Okay. In looking at the benefits, did you make a list of the benefits that appealed to you?
Well, let's see. Some basic stuff, the levels to join. I saw that there were 3 different levels, but I really don't understand them.
Okay, well, I'll answer that when we get to that point, but I'm more interested in you right now and the benefits that you feel that are important to you.
Oh, the savings was
Okay.
good, but that doesn't, and I know that a penny saved is a penny earned, but
Okay.
it has to be more than just that.
Okay. All right. Was there any other benefits that you saw that were appealing to you?
Then I could hand this down to my kids and that my mother could benefit.
Okay. You put a dollar sign on that, I presume, knowing you that you're an I dotter and a T crosser?
I haven't calculated it, but I think that's immeasurable.
Okay. Okay. Did I'm curious. I could learn from you here, so just be real frank with me if you don't mind. Did you see the benefit of the business that you could make money by saving money even before you made money? Now, I know that sounds like we're going in a circle on a merry-go-round, but do you know what I'm trying to say?
Right. Well, a penny saved is a penny earned.
Ben Franklin said it so eloquently. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So if I'm spending less, then I have more to do towards my goals.
Of the three levels, which one did you feel fit you the best?
Well, that's what's confusing to me is in level 3, do you only get that one savings?
No.
Or
no. No. Level 1, you get level 1. When you go to level 2, you get level 1 and 2. When you go to level 3, you get level 1, 2, and 3.
Okay. Well, that's clearer. Well, then level 3.
Okay. So you'd like to start at level 3. Okay. All right. Have you ever put together a business plan before?
No. I found that interesting.
Isn't it, though?
Yeah.
Don't you think that we should have a business plan that we know what you're going to be spending next month and the month after that and the month after that for the next year so you know exactly where you stand at all times?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
And along with that business plan, it really wouldn't be a bad idea if we tossed in a budget just for the heck of it, would we?
Hmm?
Okay.
Yeah.
You have a budget in your household, I presume?
Absolutely.
And it all may be in your head, but raising a family, you've got to have your own business plan or you wouldn't have survived this long.
I was an accounting major in college.
Well,
I have accounting sheet.
There you go. You're talking to an old bean counter yourself, so, you know. Okay. So we don't need to talk about plant, property, and equipment, accounts receivable, working capital, or inventory, right? Oh, bless your heart. Okay. All right. With everything that you have seen thus far, is there anything that has turned you off?
Well, no, I can't say that, but I do have some other questions.
Fire away.
Okay. The training and the marketing. I think those are things that I would need to make sure that are clear.
Okay. If you could bring your prospects to a call just like this and have them participate just like this and be on the inside just like this and benefit just like you were, would you feel like that you had someone in your camp for a change to support you?
Yes.
Okay. That's a given. That's a given.
What do you mean that's a given?
Well, you heard the other people talking on this call, didn't you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Those are all people that are marketers too.
Okay.
Okay? So it's mutual support.
That's nice.
Okay? Does that answer your question?
For the training, yeah.
Okay. You can bring your prospects to our training calls and let them go behind closed doors and hear how we do it. Pretend like they're going down to buy a new Lexus. Let them test drive it. Let them hear what we're doing. Let them experience it.
Okay.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm gonna ask for permission to stop here. Okay? I'm gonna ask for permission to stop here. And we